Welcome again to Echoes of the Ancients and part 2 of the Nez Perce War. In this segment, I'll explain what happens after the Battle of Whitebird Canyon. Let's get started. Following the battle, the Indians anticipated the army following them. They concocted a plan to bog down the army. They crossed the swollen Salmon River and waited. When the army arrived, they fired at them, then fled up the steep grade to the ridgeline. The army followed, only to discover that the Indians came back down and crossed again downstream. The army followed, but was unable to cross at that place. They then turned around and crossed at the original spot. This move gave the Nez Perce an extra week head start. The tribe headed northeast after leaving the Salmon River. Their goal was to get to Montana. But first, they made a stop at the camp of Chief Looking Glass on the Clearwater. Looking Glass was considered a treaty Indian, but after the victory at Whitebird, he was motivated to switch sides. During the exodus across the Camas Prairie, the warriors were shocked at the power of a wounded soldier they came across. He had been shot in the forehead and twice in the chest. Instead of dying, the man sat against a rock, washing his face with his own blood. He looked around with blank eyes and made a clucking noise like a chicken. A warrior shot the man twice more in the chest, but he sat upright again, still rubbing his streaming blood into his face, making the same noise. This was a wake-up call as to what they can expect in the future. With fresh troops and weaponry like howitzers and Gatling guns, General Howard proceeded to pursue the Indians. He knew they were at Looking Glass's camp, but he didn't want to go do the obvious thing and come right down the canyon into the camp. That didn't work out so well at Whitebird. So he went further south, crossed the river, and circled around the camp from the bluffs to the east. He then set up a defensive position and started firing howitzers from above. The village was out of range, but his goal was to rile them up so they'd come attack his dug-in positions. After the cannon blasts, the warriors split into two groups. 25 men would climb the bluffs while the rest of the men would guard the village. The army had set up a line of defense on the open prairie that was a mile long, designed to thwart any attempts at flanking. As the Indians reached the crest of the hill at the tree line, they saw that the army was preparing an assault. At this point, they constructed a crude fort from surrounding rocks and then began firing at the troops. Seeing that the village was not in immediate danger, the rest of the warriors joined in. This put the army's planned attack on hold, and they tried to dig in and exchange fire with the warriors. This went on for several hours until darkness. The warriors were being resupplied, but the army was desperately low on water. The army was eventually resupplied during the cover of darkness. By morning, the intense gunfire continued. The warriors began to trickle back to the village. The army initiated an attack around noon, which sent the warriors on a full-scale retreat. As they got closer to the village, the howitzers were now in range and started lobbing shells in the village. All 750 men, women, and children escaped through Cottonwood Canyon. Soon the soldiers were rummaging through the village, collecting souvenirs. The army lost 15 dead and 25 wounded, while the Indians lost 4 dead and 6 wounded. Traveling north, the Indians crossed the Clearwater at Kamea and ended up going further north to set up camp at the Weippe Plateau, which 72 years earlier was the place where Lewis and Clark emerged from the Bitterroot Mountains, hungry and freezing. This concludes part 2 of the Nez Perce War. Part 3 will follow the tribe east towards Montana, where a most amazing thing happened at Fort Fizzle. Next time on Echoes of the Ancients.